The horrible thing is, I hate to say it, but all these executives that chose not to invest in data cleanups might have been right, because it's getting cheaper and easier, and they've incurred debt that can now be paid much less expensively than if it had been done with a team of people 10 years ago.
Man, you're a terrible depravity. Let me tell you what. Like you're not wrong. That's the sad part. It's like you're spot on. It is cheaper. Like that's a very
nobody had that crystal ball.
Talk about a hot take. That's the hot take of the year right there. Like, congratulations, all of you horrible people who put off your data strategy might have won the war.
Send prompts, not nudes. I just want to AI some shit.
The infrastructure grab is real. Like, why is Trump in, the UAE trying to do multi-trillion-dollar deals to solidify infrastructure development that, like, one, I don't think we have any business doing, but that's a different topic for a different day. But like, the reality is, my favorite part, first of all, actually, I have to rabbit hole. I have to. I can't help it.
Okay,
I can't help it. Same weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this. Same weekend. And I have to love the fact that the news organizations did their best not to make it a thing. They actually separated it into separate stories. But AI doesn't give a fuck about your dates and your news stories and separating them. Same weekend, Trump does multi-billion-dollar weapons and military deal. In the same location, he does an AI and infrastructure deal. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Where's John Connor? We need to find this man.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Like, seriously. Come on. Like, those headlines wrote themselves 25 years ago. And people jumped away from them. Like I could not find one story with both of those headlines in it. And it's the best part is the ones that I did find are the same picture of him shaking the hand of the royalty. Like, it's the same exact picture with two separate dates, with two separate headlines and two separate stories. And I'm sitting there like,
Nope.
I find this fascinating. So sorry, rabbit.
Yeah. I mean, cat's out of the bag, right? Like, there's really no going back right now.
I'm just saying, like,
AI's here.
So, like, if you're gonna do deals, the way you do national level deals right now is weapons and AI. Those are the only two reasons that you meet.
Yeah.
If you're not selling tanks, you're selling intelligence. Which actually, now that I say that out loud, that actually
that's coming.
Oh man, that's the thing. That's actually a thing. So, all right. So back to our topic. So I think Randy, you hit the nail on the head on the infrastructure, because that's the real scarcity right now, right? Not that there's a land like sort of problem, but it is a GPU. It is a like power, which has been the big topic. Like, that's one of the huge reasons UAE is in the topic. They have a lot of sun. But like, I mean, I was actually talking to somebody who is utilizing a lot of GPUs. They do crypto mining. It's like a whole company, and they have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of GPUs that they use, and they rotate. The craziest part to me about how they do this is they have an entire team that just tries to predict weather. And as weather changes, they spin up and spin down all of this infrastructure to save costs or not lose, right, the mining. And that alone can change whether they make $100,000 a day or they go negative $100,000 a day. Getting the weather right, which is, like, first of all, scary as hell, because I'm sorry, but like, if you use a weather app, it's not great. I'm just saying. But we're talking about people who could be up or negative solely based off of weather. And that's their business decision on the daily. But they have found a new point of revenue. They spin all these GPUs down, and they can find somebody who wants to run an AI process or wants to batch job, and they can re-rent them back out even at the increased cost of the weather, because that's how desperate infrastructure is right now for GPUs.
Makes sense.
Well, you should make a deal with weatherchannel.com.
I'm sorry, they're accurate. Where's the second
No.
Earth that gives me weather? Where's the second, like this twin, the digital twin theory that actually predicts weather, like accurately? Like, where is that? Like, NVIDIA promised it. I want it today because boating weather is in 2 months.
Where's the model that accurately predicts how fluid is going to interact in a small container? Like fluid dynamics and complex systems like that are still beyond our capability to really model.
I disagree.
And well, I mean,
hot take.
It's a hard problem.
Rue can do it.
No. I say fluid dynamics. I think fluid dynamics is one of the perfect like physics things, and I love this because I have a local physicist who loves to argue with me. So this will be more entertaining when he sees that I talked about him on our podcast.
We gotta get him on and have a debate.
So there's an entire thing, and actually, I can't claim this because this guy did 10 times the research and actually proved it more than me. But he essentially used like 4.0, just 4.0, to visually predict and reference fluid dynamics in real time. And he created a mechanism that allows in video fluid dynamics to be used where fluid dynamics don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have to find the link and drop it because it is one of the most amazing videos, because one of the big, like, just like the statement you made, fluid dynamics is tough. 4.0 was not trained on fluid dynamics. But you know what 4.0 was trained on? Words.
Mm-hmm.
So does it have to understand, and I think this is a really interesting debate that me and James have gone back and forth on a lot, is like, just because the model wasn't trained on a concept, but it can prompt another model, or it can prompt or create the mechanism that generates the desired output, does it, like, I don't know. It's kind of like that whole, it's not made to do that conversation.
Well, it's all data at the end of the day, but what the models are doing, the magic is they're creating meaning.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's creating a correct meaning. It doesn't mean it's creating a
This
incorrect meaning. Right? But that's the large language models, they create meaning. And so there's a lot you can do with that. There's a lot you can do that was never intended to be done with this type of model, but there's also, definitely areas where it performs better than others. But yeah, it's a new frontier.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I think so. Going back to the whole infrastructure thing, did you guys see NVIDIA's release?
No.
All right. So this is for both of you. I'll take your hot take on both of these. So NVIDIA, I think this is like a absolute champion win for everyone across the board. They created and released something called NVLink Fusion. It's a licensable interconnect that allows you to stitch multiple AI chips to one mega GPU. Why it matters is that this is a little bit of sort of like competitive nature towards like MediaTek and Marvel, democratizing like hyperscale infrastructure. And it takes away a lot of the like sort of like, oh, we have a 5090 here, we have this over here, we have a whatever, and turns this into, oh, now I have 8 terabytes of bandwidth for the average person or somebody who wants to use it or use their licensing. So to me, I think this is a big moment for startups where they can't afford a GB like 200 like spine, NVIDIA spine, like monster to move the entire internet in 3 seconds, because people need that. But they can now take something like localized or something that they want to use and stitch it together to create something that's far more powerful.
My hot take is my next project is going to be building local APIs for local models, because that sort of scalability is monstrous. That's the Achilles heel right now of local models, is you can only get as fast and as good as your hardware. So
Well,
if
I'm going to take you one up, because I agree with you. I think my hot take on this is the next big development within Nexus is localization and using your own models.
oh, well, let's do it.
See, what I mean
Yeah.
by we'll see, right? Like what I mean is that there's a lot. So personal intelligence, right? The vision of Nexus, that relies on security, that relies on privacy, that there's a lot of different ways to get there. And I think that what we are able to do with our current platform is show the path. But we have things like, system messages to start and personalities as a start we're providing you 50 of them, right? But now what about when we can do 10 of your personalities, right? Your work personality, your community organization personality, all that stuff. As it starts to train and learn from you, it's got to be secure, it's got to be segregated by default, and ultimately a local model probably makes the most sense for that. So like long term, moving to local models, or at very least having a hybrid approach where your most sensitive stuff is just like, heck, it should live in your environment, right? Like maybe one day we'll have a product that we send you, the enabled brick, and it's going to sit on your desktop and it's to do amazing things. So like that is all very much in play here. What I think is interesting about what you said about NVIDIA is it's really not that different, if I understand what you just said and what I quickly looked up online, from the CUDA principle. It's just become the de facto way to access intelligence and make it stupid simple, so that it doesn't really matter to me if it's running on a 5090 or an A100 or James's CPU, as long as I get the outcome, year of the outcomes, that comes through their pipeline and they become the language of compute, which is an awesome jujitsu move.
Well, but I think you bring up a good point. Back to outcomes. If we take what you just said around localization versus API call, at the end of the day, if your subscription to Nexus for $50 lets you touch local or our API and it doesn't change your cost, meaning you can swap interchangeably between the two. You can run mobile, you can jump on and off, you can run it local if you want to on your PC. You can make that choice, or you can actively choose not to, or you can actually hybrid. You can do both. Does that, from an outcome perspective, at the end of the day, all you care about is it works?
Yeah,
right?
None of that matters probably to 95% of the people.
I agree, but I think there is a small percentage that it does matter.
Yeah.
And then
I
think an interesting other part to that is if we take that same premise and we say your subscription for X amount of money is discounted for distribution if you localize. So every time you're on your local GPU, you get that like, as long as you're home and you're using your GPU, like discount percentage.
I'll go one better. We'll pay you to use your GPU.
Well, that's I was going to go there next, but yeah, I mean, that's a real thing.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like if we, and again, this is, I think, the economics of what it means when everybody's got AI ready compute accessible and a desire to profit from their AI. Right? We talk a lot about how if I've got my personal AI and I can monetize myself via AI, that's pretty cool. But I might also be able to monetize my hardware, right? Might be able to say, hey, enable Nexus, I want your product, but when I'm not actively using it, you can do compute for anybody else in the network who has agreed to be, cloud computed, so that, we distribute where our compute happens. Some of it's in the cloud, some of it's in our users' places, and potentially you could get Nexus for free or even get paid to get Nexus if we've got the right kind of economic model there.
That would be cool.
I think
the bit torrenting of AI.
The hardware is getting there, right? Like the that's what I'm seeing from this NVIDIA thing, and with how we're designing and thinking about Nexus, I think that is very clearly in the roadmap at some point.
I like it. I think that's kind of cool concept. I mean, back to the monetization thing, I think that at the end of the day, that fear factor of where people are at around what do I do next? What do I do if AI can do my job? And what do I do if I have no job? I think this is like one of those few times in history where what has actually happened with the microeconomy is not the right term, is it?
Gig economy, microeconomy.
Gig economy. Thank you. That's the right term. Like the gig economy is like really, really, really shining in this attribute where people get to decide when they work, how much they work, why they work, right? And people with subject matter expertise, that's great, but that only extends to like certain fields. And then how do you democratize that so that you can hit a wider customer base?
Wonder how many surveys are being conducted by Manus right now.
Say more.
Oh, you're talking about gig economy. There's a whole like you can go and take online surveys and get paid for X dollars per survey you take and feedback you give. And I was just saying, I wonder how many people are just automating that and having AI go through and do the surveys for them and filling their bank accounts. I just gave John an idea.
You just hurt my brain a little bit. But guess what? I'm gonna have a whole bunch of autonomy tomorrow that's gonna just take surveys. Where do you like? Oh, you know what? I can figure that out. There's ways to do this. Interesting.
Instantly saw the wheels turning. If you want, we can just build a shared code base and just
yeah, let's riff on this.
Randy will send you the link.
Yeah, that's cool. That anxiety point, though, I think that Jen, you were talking about is up and down the stack from individuals to enterprises. So talking to people working at large companies, people thinking about AI strategy, right? Or individuals, like what does it mean to me when all this capability has? If I've built my career and my brand or my business on knowledge, and that knowledge can be encapsulated as AI, what's left? Everybody's trying to figure that out. I think what we're talking about with personal AI is a solution in that space where it's intelligently and owned encapsulation of that knowledge.
Tell me more.
Oh man, this is.
We need subscribers now.
If you're still watching the podcast at this point, I am so sorry.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No, at the end of the day, like what is the oil that runs the engine? It's data, right? And we know this quite well. It's like the most brutal reality ever. People's data sucks. It's disgusting. Freaking like it's not oil. It's like it's like the first like it's not even it's like the oil that people soak up right out of the sand when it's spilled. They're like, just like, oh, let's this is money. Let's put this in a barrel. And then like some idiot on the other side goes to refine it and goes, what the did these guys do? Like seriously. So like that I feel like that is 90% of the data we encounter. Like with most organizations. Like they have stitched something together because somebody told them that's the way they should do it, or it works. And as long as it works, nobody asks any questions. And I think I'm going to blame every executive everywhere. It is your fault. You are solely responsible for how up your company is from a data perspective. Seriously. Like, demand better, have a higher standard, and actually hold people accountable. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Oh, you can shake your head, Randy, but like that, it really is cutting corners.
No, I've been there. Right?
I know.
Me
too.
What the counter argument is.
Me
right?
too. Like, but like
and the horrible thing is, I hate to say it, but all these executives that chose not to invest in data cleanups might have been right because it's getting cheaper and easier, and they've incurred debt that can now be paid much less expensively than if it had been done with a team of people 10 years ago.
Man, you're a terrible depravity. Let me tell you what. Like you're not wrong. That's the sad part. It's like you're spot on. It is cheaper. Like that's
nobody had that crystal ball.
Talk about a hot take. That's the hot take of the year right there. Like, congratulations. All of you horrible people who put off your data strategy might have won the war.
Yeah.
If that hook doesn't write itself, I don't know what else will. But like, that's an interesting take because I hate it and it makes my guts like want to light on fire.
Same.
But at the same point, you're not wrong. Like, that is spot on. That's a great call out. Like, it is cheaper than ever to do an entire data transformation. You know what's really funny about it? I bet you they still pay $1.2 million to one of the big four to do it for them.
Well, you know what else too? It's cheaper than ever to f it up.
Die hard.
Oh, that's a good. You mean for the college student who's vibe coding under the senior person that they're billing at $800 an hour?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you tie a big brand consultancy, pass it down to someone. But I mean, like, so there are some fundamental things and tasks that we've had to do in data forever, right? And those tasks don't go away with AI. They just maybe get better if you know what you're doing, but you're still going to have, like, you know, deduplication and, you know, mastering data and clarifying just your data dictionary of what means what. That doesn't go away. Now with AI, you can map into it, you can organize it, and you can put it into a system, and you can even build the strategy to do this. If you've never done it before, great. But like that whole, like, you know, it's like plumbers knowing exactly which pipes to fix to, you know, get the shit out of your house. Like, you still need that expertise to be able to plumb the system.
And on that note, I think Randy just freaking crushed it. Like, he just called out two absolute dichotomies and just said that all you lazy executives out there actually may have won the war. So I don't even know how better to close out a podcast than that, because he just blew my mind and may have vindicated all the C-suite executives everywhere.
I'm waiting for the check, guys.
I know. Hey, you can send it to Randy's address, and we'll drop that below.
From whiskey pours to AI wars, thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay questioning, and we'll catch you in the next episode.